Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan from weatherwatch.co.nz. Thanks very much for joining us. We're tracking the storm system near Fiordland, and at the same time we're also tracking the weather coming up for the long weekend in New Zealand for Queen's Birthday weekend. So let's kick off though, first of all, with this storm parked right next to Fiordland. Central air pressure down into the 960s, which is very low air pressure for around New Zealand. Now on the left-hand side of it, or the western side, you've got the cold southerly. That's the one producing snow flurries around the mountains of Victoria, Tasmania and New South Wales. But we've got the warm nor'westers in New Zealand and the thunderstorms as well, which are now coming through this central area and coming into central New Zealand. On the satellite map, you can see the big front last night that came through. A lot of that was just very impressive looking high cloud. There wasn't necessarily a huge amount of rain with it. Now we're getting the bigger downpours in this feed of westerlies here. So these isolated blobs of yellow are basically driving in the thunderstorms and the squalls. And we've got a lot drier weather up here to the north at the moment as a result of the low being so far south. So let's take a look at those thunderstorms. At the time we recorded this on Wednesday towards lunchtime, thunderstorms around Nelson. I know Jet from Nelson, you'll be very happy about that. And a few thunderstorms also up here around Taranaki and also on the west coast. And we'll be seeing more of them coming out on this westerly conveyor belt out of Australia, all circling around this storm system near Fiordland. So here we are on Thursday. Now the centre of this storm is falling apart. It came roaring in yesterday, gets to Fiordland, and then it just sort of went, whoa, hold on, I don't know what to do. So the low is actually stuck here and is falling apart now over the next few days, pretty much centred just off the west coast. And here is the storm system from the other day, the first one that came in. So we've got this very large area of low pressure. It goes all the way up to New Caledonia, which is pretty remarkable. And then in comes this big high behind it. So that means frosty weather for inland parts of Australia. Certainly some cold nights following some very cold weather over the last 24 hours. As we go into Friday, the last sort of gasp of this storm system in the Tasman Sea. This is the leftovers of it just off the coast of Hokitika. And as we go through the day, it sort of unravels and throws a southerly and a southwesterly up the country with showers and downpours, and yes, still a few remaining thunderstorms. But then it should start to ease because this high from Australia is starting to come in. So let's take a look at the long weekend forecast for New Zealand and look at how it kicks off. High pressure rolling on in. There might still be a couple of lingering showers here just in the north, that little fading southerly. Otherwise, the weather is really looking pretty good for the start of the long weekend. Unless, of course, you're flying over the ditch, and not quite the same for Adelaide, Melbourne and Tasmania. Your next storm system coming through, and on Saturday you've got the windy westerlies, but also a temperature drop coming for you as well, another one. And as we get into Sunday, it gets even colder. Southerlies coming into Adelaide, they'll be coming into Melbourne later on, and then at the end of the day or night time coming into Tasmania. So cold wintry weather there. Westerlies coming in towards New Zealand. Our Sunday looks actually quite mild as those north to northwest winds build, these ones here. So that's going to make for a pretty mild Sunday and mostly dry, but there's a few showers in the north and maybe a few coming into the west coast later on. And our final map for Queen's Birthday Monday, looks a bit normal though really for New Zealand for a long weekend. So we've got this front ahead of the low pressure zone. So a little bit like we saw last night, there might be a little bit of rain and a few showers, but there could still be some large dry areas here around the country on Queen's Birthday Monday. And then later on in the day and going into Tuesday, Wednesday next week, New Zealand's next surge of west to southwest winds comes through, another big area of low pressure. So we're truly in an autumn weather pattern now, although officially we're into winter on the meteorological calendar as of June 1st. But you can take your pick. If you go with the astronomical date, autumn is still with us for 3 more weeks. The only problem with that is you have to hold on to that when spring arrives and it feels like spring, but you've got to still say it's winter till the end of September. That is all from me for today. We'll be back again on Thursday. And by the way, our next Climate Watch update, it is now out, covering June, July and August. You can find that on our website at ruralweather.co.nz and also on our YouTube page. See you tomorrow.